Top five, top five, top five.
So time to go back with another video. I'm Strange Wang and he is Nathaniel. Today we're doing top 5 alien movies in honor of Jordan Peele's newest film, Nope. It's probably going to be dope. Bars. But before we get into this, he will tell you how we do our top 5 and about our social media, etc. and where you can find that.
If you scroll down to the description box below, pop it open, you'll find links to our social media accounts. So go and give us a follow on those. We also have links to our coffee account and our Patreon account if you'd like to help our channel financially, which actually right now would be really nice. We've got some scenery changes going on. We could really use that, so we'd appreciate it. There's also the thanks button right there on the YouTube page. I don't know. Up is down, down is up.
That's below the video.
If you don't know how we do our top 5s, he's going to start with his 5 and 4. I'll give my 5 and 4, 3-2, 3-2. Then we trade off number 1s. We also have something called the Zemeckis rule, which just means if we both have the same movie on our list, but one person has 2 spots or higher, then we only talk about it once.
My number 5 will be Sicario.
Whack.
My number 5 will be Alien. Is it the best made film on my list? Is it the most iconic movie on my list? I would say so, for sure. It's a very simple story. 5 bunch of people that go on a planet. This thing starts getting inside of these people and killing them and sucking their faces off and things of that nature and shooting out their bodies, and it's fucking terrifying. What's scary is what you don't see. Basic principles, excellent filmmaking, and the people are what make this movie even better because these are real people. You got 2 people, we taking a detour. I'm not working unless I get more money. You got real life problems, real life people having real life conversations on this ship, and they encounter the xenomorphs, and they are fucking terrifying. And it's a very well made movie. Had to make my list. And my number 4 is not the most alien centric film, but it is the film I watched the most with aliens, extraterrestrials, whatever you want to call it. It's the one that gets played the most in the House of Strange Wang. And also has a xenomorph in it. It is Spaceballs.
Oh. Yeah.
There's Barfs in it. He's in throughout the entire film. There's other aliens. You have a xenomorph as a joke. The film's fucking funny. Point blank being, it has aliens. It fits the list. It's fucking hilarious. Number 4.
Nice. So for my list, not that there were really any rules. I just made a self-rule. In the spirit of Nope, all of mine are movies that take place on Earth that aliens come to. Also, this is definitely a favorites list and not necessarily a best of list, which that's
for sure.
That's all of our lists. Sometimes we say it, sometimes we don't, but I felt like it needed explaining for this list specifically because even though it didn't make my list, super honorable mention to Mars Attacks, which is not a good movie, but I fucking love it. It's so funny to me. But my number 5 is Men in Black, which
Very solid.
isn't a nostalgia bug burrowed deep into under my skin? Absolutely. I know it's not the best movie ever, but I freaking loved that movie growing up, and I still love that movie. And I think it holds up a lot better than a lot of people give it credit for.
It's debatable.
I think that the last Men in Black movie that came out gave all Men in Black movies a bad rap. I know a lot of people think 3 is not very good, but I really like that one as well. But I went with the original one for my number 5. Number 4, I went with Edge of Tomorrow, which, all these movies that have been coming out, they've been taking the Groundhog Day principle. Most of them have crushed it. This is no exception. This movie is very good. I love science fiction. This has science fiction and aliens just like Star Wars does, except it actually happens on Earth, so it fits my rules for the list. So, Tom Cruise, he makes really good movies. Emily Blunt is also very good, and it's just a really unique movie. I don't know that another movie like this will ever really exist.
Time out, T-Mart. So, we got Edge of Tomorrow. We got Palm Springs. We got Happy Death Day. We got a few more that I can't think of off the top of my head.
Map of Tiny Perfect Things. You haven't seen it, but...
Okay. Has any of the movies that use the Groundhog's Day trope better than the original movie Groundhog's Day? I would say one movie gives it a run for its money.
Palm Springs?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think it's better. I think it's like on the same level.
Yeah, I would personally, just because of my taste in movies, I would make the same argument for Edge of Tomorrow. But that's just because I really love science fiction and stuff like that. But they're also really hard to compare because they are also all very different in a lot of ways. I would say Palm Springs is the most like Groundhog Day in that it is like...
I'm talking about fits the trope. Because if you can force it into any movie, it doesn't make it a good movie.
Yeah, but I don't really feel like out of all the ones that we mentioned, I don't think it has felt forced into any of them.
It does not. That's why I remember those.
So, yeah, in terms of like using the recycled day principle itself and not judging like the movie as a whole, then to me, all of the ones that we listed are on par with Groundhog Day.
Are they better?
At using the trope?
I don't think any is better than Groundhog Day, personally.
I still think they're kind of on the same level. They all use it differently, like especially Edge of Tomorrow, obviously, because of the premise of it. But yeah, I mean, it's tough to say.
All right. Just curious what you would say.
Well, they had Groundhog Day to build off of, right?
Yeah.
So it's like Groundhog Day. It's all the first time that we're really seeing things from this principle. Like having the same interactions with someone every single day, but you're the only one that knows that it's like on repeat. So how do you handle that? How do you respond differently? Do you punch this person in the face this day? Do you hug them this day? Blah blah blah, so on and so forth. And they just
punched that dude in the face.
Yeah, he did. It was funny. I think that's my favorite part of the scene in that movie. But yeah, almost all of them go through some sort of like cycle of trying to kill themselves and it doesn't work. So, yeah.
Number 3 for me will be the film Aliens. There's an S. There's more than one. It's different from the original. And it really is, because we know what the xenomorph looks like. Let's put 50 of them in a movie so you can see what a lot of them looks like. Guess what? There's a boss. They have a mother, alien queen. And then Ripley, you have to fight her. But I love this movie because, again, the people make these movies. And when it comes to, like, an alien or something, you cannot fight because it doesn't talk back. Jaws, for instance. Yeah. But people make those movies, and people forget about that. So this movie's no different. You got a fucking crew of characters in this movie, and they feel like work friends, you know? Like at the job we used to have, they're talking shit to each other. They're brushing off the shoulder. That doesn't mean nothing. It's fun banter back and forth. Mm-hmm. So you have that fun banter. And then, obviously, since there's so many characters are going to die off, since you have that investment in this character for this reason or that character for that reason, it hurts a little bit when they die. And it gives you more investment for the rest of the team.
Makes sense.
You killed my homie. Fuck them up. Let's kill those xenomorphs. I want to see that green acid ooze out them. And, because I don't know if they got eyes, but they do got eyes. I want to see no eyes, you know? I want to see them dead. Rest in peace. 6 feet deep, you know what I'm saying? So you have that investment, you have the fun action, because James Cameron, he knows how to make a movie look good, and he knows how to make action look good as well. Underrated director James Cameron is, I personally think, because of his lack of films, because he doesn't have films like Spielberg. He doesn't have 30 films. He has like maybe 10.
Yeah, but I think James Cameron is a pretty celebrated and accomplished director.
He's not on any top 10 list.
Don't know about.
Anyway, this is about aliens. Aliens. So you have these cool xenomorphs, and you show a little bit more of their lore as well in this film. So that's why I have it over Alien, because you took what you had, you made it better, you made it unique, you made it different, and expanded on the lore. And this film has more of my investment because it's a fun action movie where a robot goes do kind of thing. He's like, ah, game over. My number 2 is Arrival, a peaceful element to aliens coming to Earth. They're coming to Earth. Fuck. I don't want to talk about this movie. You haven't seen it. I really want you to see it.
Yeah. It's the only reason it's not on my list, I'm sure.
Incredible performances. Incredible visual effects. Usually, you look at, like, that last Thor movie. There was a couple times in Thor Love and Thunder, I was like, damn. Marvel, that pandemic hit Marvel hard because that's a bad green screen. You know what I'm saying? The green screen ain't up to par, you know what I'm saying? This movie, visual effects, incredible. Relationships, incredible. Story is incredible. This film is a 9.5 out of 10. Little room for error, a little error in this film. It's a must watch. You should watch it. I know you're moving, but as soon as you get them moving, take that box that has your movies in it. All 3 of the boxes. Go through, make sure you find the right one. You take it. It probably has dust on it. Go, because that's what they do in movies. It looks really cool.
Actually, I'm pretty sure my copy of Arrival still has the cellophane on it. So
That's even worse. But still, blow it off. Go, because it looks cool in movies. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Dust hitting the camera. Do that. Gently take it out. Put it in the, what do you got, a PS5?
Mm-hmm.
Slide it into the PS5. Sit down. Turn lights off. Make it magical, mystical. Don't pop popcorn. You don't want to hear the sound crunching when you're watching a movie and mess up the audio.
Audio? Is it a car making noise?
Yes. They have cars in the movie. None of them go, ka-chow. But sit down, have yourself a good night. Enjoy it. I put money on it.
Yeah, I'm sure that I will. I have no doubt.
Like the Gwen Stefani concert.
Right. So my number 3, used to hate this movie. Used to hate everything about it. Used to think that the only people that liked this movie were people who just could not get 80s nostalgia out of their ass. And I watched it again a couple years ago, and it's E.T. I fucking love that movie. I was wrong. I think that I mostly love it not because of if your criticism of the film is E.T.'s design is terrible and it looks like a ball sack, you're absolutely correct. No argument. His design is really bad. It's not good.
And I'm not lying.
But Spielberg, in his prime, just coming through with these magical moments. I think what I love most is that E.T. is really just kind of a movie about empathy and getting along, the importance of fitting in and being accepted, right? Because Elliot, even before he meets E.T., he gets along with his little sister, but she's little and she's a girl, and his big brother's just a dick to him, to the point where he has to call him penis breath. He just wants to play D&D with the boys.
Nerd alert.
But they won't let him. And his mom is the worst mom in cinema history, and just kind of lets her kids do whatever the fuck they want and doesn't really pay attention to him. So he doesn't feel like he fits in. That's a really shitty feeling. I felt that way when I was in middle school. I get it. And all of a sudden, E.T.'s here. He's a benevolent alien. He doesn't fit in at all. But Elliot just kind of accepts him. And it's nice. And I appreciate it. And it makes me feel good things.
Bryce Dallas Howard and Hillbilly Elegy, worst mother. Also, Monique and Precious, worst mother.
I believe you. I've never seen either of those. And I'm definitely not going to see Hillbilly Elegy.
That's fair.
Number 2 for me, again, just comes down to personal preference and movies that I just generally love. It's Independence Day. I love that movie. I could watch that's the kind of movie where it's I don't have to be in a mood to watch Independence Day. It can be on, and I'm just gonna have a lot of fun watching this movie. Will Smith, prime Will Smith, before he's just punching people on nationally televised events.
He was slapping aliens.
He was slapping aliens. Welcome to Earth.
And don't talk about my wife.
Yeah, right. Somebody needs to make an edit where he says that when he hits the alien. And Jeff Goldblum.
We have a TikTok.
What a and Bill Pullman is one of the better presidents in movie history. Big fan. And the way they end up defeating the aliens is dope. And homie just crashing his plane straight up in right up the tailpipe. It's good stuff. Big fan. Love Independence Day. Also, all right, do you think, because of, all right, so, people storm the Capitol, politics is just, very inflammatory these days.
What the fuck are you about to say?
Do you think that, that Hollywood would let someone get away with blowing up the White House in a movie, right now in 2022?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would hope so. I don't think they would, though. I think that it would be okay. I think that they would be afraid that people would be too sensitive about it.
Nah, there's so many white people that hate America. They would let that shit aside. They're I'm 17 and I hate white people. And I wear cardigans. Blow up the White House.
I like cardigans.
I like cardigans too, but you don't fit the type, You know
who wore a cardigan? Mr. Rogers.
But cardigan's got a bad name now, you know what I'm saying? It's like how the bros took Fight Club.
Oh, yeah.
Some people just take shit that got a bad name. My problem with you is you said homie Randy Quaid is above the homie level. You gotta say Randy Quaid.
He's a homie.
He's a funny motherfucker. He ain't just a homie.
Yeah, he's a homie.
Anyways, number 1 for Strange Wang. Personal list. He said it twice. I'm saying it myself. Personal list. Number 1 for Strange Wang. Predator, son. And I ain't talking about your uncle in jail.
Ooh.
I'm talking about the motherfucker goes, that motherfucking fire, son. You got Schwarzenegger. You got Apollo Creed. You got Sonny. You got Bill. You got all these guys. You got the guy who wrote the movie, Shane Black. You got these motherfuckers on a plane. Fucking grade A cinema. You get to know everyone in the matter of 5 minutes. You get to know their relationships, things like that. You get them out. You get this like 10-minute scene of them just kicking ass and saying one-liners. And then they find this poor, helpless girl who was a prisoner. Like, they did God knows what, that girl. They're trying to save her, so you immediately like, I like these dudes before. I like them because they're badasses, and now they're good people because they're trying to help this girl. You love these characters. You got Arnold Schwarzenegger. Do it one more time. Dylan, you son of a bitch. Haha. Fire. Or Schwarzenegger throws a knife at somebody and says, stick around. That shit's fucking fire. This movie breathes life in the Strange Wang, if you can't tell. And then, that's just in the first, 30 minutes. Great pacing. Great directing. Because back then, you had less to rely on, so you had to have better directing and writing, I feel like, for a movie to really pop.
Sure.
You couldn't just coat shit and CGI and comic book shit. But you got the Predator, and you got a really cool... You don't see this motherfucker, which makes it even more scary. Where are they fighting? You have questions built into the script. Great fucking stuff. And then the Predator is so cool because he's ripping out people's skulls and vertebrae and holding it up, doing Predator cries and whatnot.
We get Mortal Kombat up in there.
Exactly. You just get fucking 10 out of 10 action, 10 out of 10 writing, 10 out of 10 storytelling for me personally and what I want to see in my movies. It has enough entertainment to match with the filmmaking to make it an incredible film. And then you have Schwarzenegger fight this Predator, and this Predator is like, dog, you covered yourself in mud, you beat my technology with context clues, mask off, like he Future. But he don't do no Molly Percocets. It's out of respect, and you get this fight scene between the most badass American in film at that time in that movie in Predator. Because Predator only hunts the best of the best.
Right. The best what?
Badass American.
The best badass what?
American. In that movie, he's American. He's in the U.S. Army.
He doesn't sound American.
So?
At all.
It doesn't matter.
That dude is not American, but okay.
Yeah,
I mean, he's also the governor, well, was the governor of California.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he is now, but
anyways,
that's one Austrian son of a bitch.
you have the best and what we think at this point is the best of his planet clashing in a hell of a fucking fight.
And
You
then
saw
they're-
how excited I was. If you haven't seen Predator, go watch it. That's why number 1.
And then they were
The
like, you know what?
excitement.
Super Predators.
I didn't say the rest of the movies were good.
I know. But you said what we thought was the best of the
Prey?
time, and that made me think of it.
Prey, that movie, I'm not looking forward to that movie.
Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and knock this softball out of the park. You know what you and the Predator have in common? You're both one ugly motherfucker.
Kiss my ass!
Yeah, so my number 1, it's not even my favorite movie on the list, and it was hard to balance quality versus just personal entertainment value. But this is just such a good fucking movie. I felt like I had to make it my number 1, so I went with Annihilation. Because it is an incredibly well-made movie, incredibly well cast, incredibly well acted, soundtrack phenomenal, and it's also just like, for me, it's the perfect level of scary, like, because you got this weird alien thing that's like warping our world, right? So you got like freaking bears that imitate noise and these freaking hybrid weird ass alligator things. I didn't expect it to like frighten me a little bit, but it did, because that movie was really, really creepy. But like the ending, it gets a little weird. I'm not above admitting that. Like the ending gets a little weird, and that's okay. But it is easily the best. It's easily the best made movie on my list. And because it is easily the best made movie on my list, I just went ahead and made it number 1.
That's fair.
But also probably the least rewatchable movie on my list. So, the list is done. It's number 1.
I thought about putting it on my list, but then I couldn't think of that theory I had. You remember that theory I had about it? It's like
that it's like
crazy
about
shit.
sexism or something.
Something like that.
That's what your theory was, that it was about sexism.
I couldn't remember, so that's why I didn't put it on my list. And I also tried to watch The Thing, but I didn't have time to watch The Thing
Oh,
because that's a good like alien.
yeah.
So sorry, haven't seen it. Haven't seen District 9 either. But I tried to get in those before I made this list. But life happens. Tell me about your life down in the comment section below, along with your top 5 favorite alien movies, along with are you excited for Dope or not? We want to hear your thoughts and opinions in that comment section. Scroll back up, hit the like button, share the video, and subscribe.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.